Right guys, so we're here at the Continental Tech Show 2023 in Frankfurt, Germany, and this is a mock-up of a battery temperature management system for a typical EV electric vehicle. So what many people don't know is that with EVs, it's very important to manage the temperatures of the battery because batteries have a very narrow window of operation, of ideal operation. So when it's really cold, you need to heat it up. When it's really hot, you need to cool it down. So even in Malaysia, in fact, certain EVs need their batteries to be heated up before it can operate in its ideal conditions, before it can charge at a fastest rate and so on. And of course, when you charge them at very high speeds, the temperature is going to shoot up and then you need to cool it down again. So all the cooling is extremely important. So with Continental, or rather a subdivision of Continental called ContiTech, they develop all kinds of rubber hoses and so on. Well, in fact, I shouldn't say rubber because they've got a variety of materials to use. Basically, when it comes to EVs, all car manufacturers place a very high priority on sustainable materials. So this is where alternative materials come on board. So the most normal material to use is, of course, rubber. But there's limited resources for rubber. So a good alternative would be thermoplastic, which is just as elastic, it's just as flexible as normal rubber. But as you can see, even the size is actually narrower on the thermoplastic compared to rubber, with similar, if not quite identical, kind of characteristics in terms of heating, cooling, and so on. You can also have it in metal, of course, but that's going to be heavier, bulkier, and obviously much more expensive. So in this single mock-up of a cooling system, you've got rubber over there, you've got thermoplastic over here, you've got PP hard plastics, you've got PPS, more heat resistant plastic as well. So yeah, and I was also told, which surprised me a little bit, EV cooling system actually takes up twice, almost 3 times as many hoses compared to a conventional ICE vehicle. So for a company like ContiTech, they've got more to gain with the world going into EVs than sticking with ICE. So that's quite interesting as well. So as you can see, these look like oil coolers, and the heating would come from either an external heater or maybe they just channel the heat from the car into the battery to heat the battery up, to bring it up to temperature. Here you've also got mock-ups of fans, radiators, and so on. This is something that you don't normally see in an EV. You just think, an EV runs like an electric device. There is no cooling, there is no heating, there is no radiator, there is no coolant, there is no cooling fluids involved. But yeah, you'd be wrong, because this is it. It looks complicated. This is probably a very simplified representation of a proper cooling system. So yeah, the real thing is going to be a lot more complicated. So yeah, I think it's very interesting to see what it looks like, what it involves, and the fact that car manufacturers are going so deep into the details to make their cars much more sustainable from the ground up. I mean, EVs are all about sustainability anyways, but it doesn't make sense if it's supposed to use less energy on the outside, but on the inside it's all full of natural resources. So with this, for a fact, most car manufacturers are really looking in depth to make their cars more sustainable from the ground up. I think that's a really good thing to see as well. So what do you think of this? Let me know in the comment section below. Ciao.